Good morning, hyenas, and welcome back to another episode of This Week in Memes, where I'm happy to report that the JD Vance edits are still getting better. I would argue that they have officially lasted the test of time. I'm sure some of you are thinking, the JD Vance edits only started getting popular like earlier this week, are you sure? And to that I would argue, whenever something gets as popular as the JD Vance face edits, they typically burn out twice as quickly. You shouldn't be hearing about this meme whatsoever 72 hours later, and yet here we are. Not only are people making more and more edits of JD Vance, but they're getting better. They're getting more nuanced. They're getting more professionally done. We've reached the point where these memes have entered their post-humorous, self-satirizing parody phase, and like an aged kimchi, they have officially gotten spicy enough, in my opinion, to warrant yet another video. Mr. President, I have to report to you right now, there has been a second JD Vance video on the SumitoMedia channel. What are we gonna start out with? What else but the George W. Bush being informed of a second plane hitting the World Trade Center while reading a book to a kindergarten classroom, except it's not G.W. Bush, it's J.C. Vance. The J.C. of course standing for Jerry Curls. Pretty funny meme, right? Excellent edit. If I sent that in the group chat, you'd probably want to respond with an image of your own to let everybody know you were laughing. Like, I don't know, the laughing Leonardo DiCaprio gif. You don't need Leonardo DiCaprio. We've got Leonardo da Vance. Pace yourselves, gamers, because these memes are only going to get more and more intense. In the meantime, allow me to tell you about Sups, who has a new promotion today. They are launching the Morning Wood collection. Lumberjack-themed everything. Beanies, waifu cups, lumberjack-themed jackets. You into wood? They're selling wood. You can buy a Sups log of wood. I do not know who came up with that, but it's banging. All of that is 10% off using my link in the description. Additional promotion. Any purchase of Sups tubs, any of the powder comes with a free waifu cup, and that's just a good value. Buy it using my link, support your boy, and get yourself a log of wood. Ted Kaczynski? Broke. Jed Davansky? Woke. Look at the artifacting on this one. The hair isn't even the same as the original Ted Kaczynski mugshot. The beard is a different texture, but it's his face. He's got the cheeks. They didn't even make it like cartoonishly big. They just aimed for like hyper realism, and they kind of knocked it out of the park, dude. The thing that I really appreciate about these JD Vance edits is that it feels like it has become popular enough, widespread enough, that it has started to surpass the political undertones. Obviously, with JD Vance being the vice president to Donald Trump, you know, he's like a very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's like a decisive figure. Like, people are very upset just by seeing his face, you know what I mean? Because he's so associated with politics. And with the first few edits just being, hey, let's give him Jerry curls and make his face fatter, it did feel relatively political. Obviously, it's going to be people making fun of JD Vance that are also going to be people that don't agree with him ideologically or politically. But the memes have gotten so good and so widespread that now we're seeing edits of JD Vance in already existing popular memes, and they've gotten so good that it no longer just feels like a cheap shot at the vice president for political points on the internet and upvotes on Reddit. Rather, this is starting to feel like a true, original, you know, value-driven part of meme culture. Like, look at these guys. It's easy to take a look at an AI-generated photo of big fat JD Vance and go, oh, this was made by somebody trying to make fun of JD Vance for whatever reason. But when you see an edit of JD Vance's face on CreepyChan, on this age-old photo that's got lore of like a Tumblr user who, like, first of all, watch this video by YouTuber Randy Moon if you don't know who CreepyChan is, but I think you recognize this photo, this creepypasta associated dark web-esque photo of this girl that was colloquially referred to as CreepyChan. Do you understand how much of an internet degenerate, how much of a deep lore hyena you have to be to even know what this photo is, and then to take the time to Photoshop JD Vance's face onto it? This is no longer people just taking a cheap shot at a trending topic on the internet. This is really starting to feel like it's grabbing the attention of some of the better meme makers on the internet. Look at the attention to detail here. You still have the blue eyes of JD Vance, different colored eyes, staring directly at you in that same dead expression that Creepy Chan has, but then they took the time to have the facial hair, but it's thinner and it matches the color of the original Creepy Chan girl. You gave him guy liner to match the eyeliner that Creepy Chan had. It's not exactly the same color, but like, I'm not gonna say I don't appreciate that you went far enough to do that. You gave him eyebrows? Those aren't even the same eyebrows that the girl has. You just gave him like yassified eyebrows to try to match the look. There's so much here. They even widened his cheeks as like a callback to the fat face JD Vance edits, the baby face JD Vance edits, and then stretched it above the hair. Like there's depth, there's shadows. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight because I'm gonna be jerking off to this photo. They're not all winners, okay? I'm not gonna act like this is a renaissance in Photoshop trickery. They're not all winners. They don't all need attention to detail and over-analysis in order to make sure that you get the most value for appreciating some of them. Some of them are still just shit posts. But listen, I just want to make sure that you are aware that some of these memes are like excellent and more than just a fattening Snapchat filter of JD Vance. And I'm not going to sit here like some of the lazier quote unquote edits, the shit postier ones, aren't still getting a chuckle out of me. The Riddler, but it's JD Vidler, Edward D. Nigma. Okay, maybe that's not as good. Whittle me this. I demand money and I demand tanks. And yet all the while, I never say thanks. Who am I? I haven't seen the Batman movie with the Riddler. Was I close to his voice? What if instead of JD Vance, it was JJ Vance and the J stood for JoJo? What if instead of JD Vance, it was GL Vance, and the GL stood for Glorious Leader Vance, Jim Kong D. Vance. Several things to appreciate about this edit. 1, you gave him the North Korean haircut. Gotta love it. B, you put him in a suit. I know he'll appreciate that. And C, you didn't give him a normal stare. Like, you did sort of North Koreanify, I think, the eyes and like the sides of the face a little bit, even though you kept the fat cheeks, but you gave him a goofy smile. The teeth a little separated, the mouth open like a fucking dork. Like, I love this one. I'm sorry, Sumito, you bear a striking resemblance to a JD Vance edit, and I can't unsee it. What? Chat, that's not true, right? Right? What if instead of JD Vance, it was CC Vance for Chris Chan? Because at the end of the day, like, how could this guy's life get any worse? What's gonna happen when you put on the Sonichu medallion, huh? Everybody's gonna think you had sex with a couch? That's still an improvement over having sex with your mom. I found another Leonardo da Vance edit, but instead of the laughing gif, it's the one where he's like pointing at the thing on TV. And this one is hard. I think he's got Leonardo DiCaprio's hair. He might have his facial hair, but like, if I'm being honest, it's kind of hard for me to tell how much of the face is Leonardo DiCaprio and how much of it is Leonardo da Vance. It's getting bad. JD Vance. No. 3D Vance. I read somewhere that the J in JD Vance stands for J, like Homer J. Simpson's middle name, which means the D in JD Vance probably stands for D, which is just a stupid name as far as I'm concerned. What if the J stood for Joseph Stalin? That'd be something, huh? I've got this one in my folder of JD Vance meme edits, but I'm not sure. Like, I think it's a JD Vance. I don't know. What is this? It's simple. Okay. It's a very simple edit. You might even miss it if you were just scrolling on your timeline. But again, we're not here to just laugh at him. Just take the time to be in the shoes of the guy making this. You had the option to put JD Vance's face on any of the chipmunks, even Alvin. But I do think it was an artistic choice, and a correct one, if I may say so myself, to pick Theodore. Van Halen's track, Dance the Night Away. But it's Vance Halen, and it's Vance the Night Away. Very good. As somebody who was born in the 90s and wasn't even really that much of a rock fan to begin with at any point in his life, is every one of these guys photoshopped JD Vance, or is it just the one in the red? Because it's kind of... This could be what Van Halen looks like for all I know. I probably didn't cover every one of the JD Vance edits, but I did my best to pick out some of my favorites, and if you want to see more of them, don't worry, that's why I upload more than once a week. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss them. A big thank you to the patrons scrolling in the back. Go get yourselves a free waifu cup with any Gamer Sups purchase using my link in the description, and I will catch you guys on the next one, yeah? Vance!